little while there at the top of the hour, but this is your show today, and we'll go with this game as long as we can in these next couple of weeks or next couple of days. Rich in Florida, he's on Mad Dog Unleashed. Richard, good afternoon. How are you today?
Good afternoon, Chris. How are you today?
All right, Richard, nice to talk to you. What's on your mind now? Let me hear.
A couple of takeaways from the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like you said, number one, it wasn't spectacular. It was good, but it wasn't spectacular.
Well, it's not a spectacular game. There's no defense in the game. There was no ebb and flow to it as far as lead changes were concerned. Too much offense, and it felt like a Big 12 football game for a while. This is not an all-time classic by any stretch of the imagination. Go ahead.
And I thought the game call by Collingsworth and Al Michaels was putrid.
Well, putrid's a little strong. It wasn't putrid, but it was routine. Al had a routine day. Al did not treat this. I didn't get the impression. It was a little too low-key. The Eagles finally won a championship after 60 years. Balls in the air at the end of the game, and as Al was going through the motions. That was my take on it. Go ahead.
Well, the reason why I say that is because it just seemed like Al was very biased towards, the Patriots. Then instead of, calling it straight down the middle and giving credit to the Eagles their due, and the way that that they were trying to analyze that tight end's catch into the end zone. Is it a catch? Not a catch. Is it a catch? Not a catch. By the way, it has some Steelers, Ryan, the guy who got hurt, and Le'Veon Bell saying, wait a minute, if Ertz made the catch, what was that other one that was there? Yeah, well,
Ertz took a longer run in the end zone, and the other kid did. So that was a little different. The thing that Collingsworth and Al did not do is that they did not indicate, guys, if the call on the field is a catch, as both were, I mean, to overturn either one of them was going to take an awful lot of work. I thought that both were touchdowns. I even thought that the bobble by Clement was a touchdown. I know that was probably a little more easier. It was easier to overturn than the other one was. I thought they made the right call on that. Boy, that's a lot of pressure on the referee, Stavator, and also the replay official, Ribiton, to how they're going to overturn Zach Ertz's touchdown. I mean, gee whiz. I mean, that changes the whole game. I mean, that was 3rd and 7. They had to kick the field goal. It would have been, they would have had a 2-point lead. The game would have been over. They would have lost. I mean, that's how important that call was. But again, folks, I've said this for 2 weeks. They were going to lose a game eventually, the Patriots. You can't get every break known to man. They were going to lose one. That's all there is to it. You can't win all these games the same kind of way. You're going to lose a game. John in Florida, he's on Mad Dog Unleashed. Johnny, good afternoon. How are you today?
Mad Dog, I'm ecstatic. My Eagles have won the Super Bowl. I just want to talk a little bit about Doug Peterson. I called you and Phil on Friday, and I said that the biggest difference in this game I really believed was going to be Doug Peterson, as opposed to every other coach that faced Bill Belichick in a big game. Doug Peterson was not going to take the pedal off the metal. He was going to take chances, and he was going to drive it right to the final gun. And I really think that made the difference. You look at what he did during the season. He lost an all-pro left tackle. And on the right side, he has an all-American left tackle from Oklahoma that played right tackle only because there was an all-pro on the left side. 31 other coaches would have moved that all-pro right tackle to left tackle.
Lane Johnson, he kept him there. Good point. Very good point.
He kept him on the right side because he had an impenetrable right side, and he went, why weaken two things?
I agree with that. Why rob Mary to pay Paul, or rob Paul to pay Mary?
Absolutely.
Yes.
And that, to me, was one of the unsung moves of this season. I mean, all hats off to Doug Peterson. And it could have been the passing of the torch, Dog. I tell you what, passing from Bill Belichick to Doug Peterson, he may be the guy for the next decade.
I got to see more than that. If I saw a deterioration in Brady, I would think there'd be something to it. But as long as he is healthy and wants to play, and that seems to be the case, Belichick isn't going anywhere. I would be surprised if the Patriots, you haven't heard from them. You're going to hear from them again. I mean, again, one of these years they're going to go 7-9, but you try to pick that year. I can't. One of these years they'll do it. When, who knows? Alex is in Ontario, Canada. He's on Mad Dog Unleashed. Alex, good afternoon. How are you today?
Hi, Mad Dog. How's it going?
Hello, Alex. Nice to talk to you. What's on your mind now? What do you have for me?
Would you trade Nick Foles or keep him as an insurance policy for Carson Wentz?
I think you have to keep him. I think if you trade him, you're almost upsetting the football gods. You want a Super Bowl and you bail out on him. So I think they got to keep him. Plus, they're not 100% sure probably whether Wentz will be raring to go week 1 of the season. So, I mean, he did have the surgery in December, 8 months. You think he would be fine, but you need an insurance policy there. You have him signed. I think it's a $4 million deal. Foles won't like it sitting on that bench, but at least for the next year, I think it's almost sacrilege to trade a guy who won you a Super Bowl after 60 years. I think Foles will be able to put up with it. I think Foles will be on a team next year. I'd be surprised if he isn't. Go ahead.
If they did trade Nick Foles, what do you think they could get for him, and where do you think he would end up?
Well, they wouldn't get a number 1 pick. They certainly wouldn't do that. They get a team that now listen. That's a tricky trade if you make it. For the team that makes the trade to get Foles, are you sure that this is the quarterback now is going to be great the rest of his life? Are you positive? I mean, he had 3 very, very good games. Are you positive right now that this is a no-brainer, that he is your answer at the position forever? You're positive if you're the Jets or the Browns or anybody who wants to trade for him. But again, I don't think Footy's going to trade him. So I think they're going to sit tight with it. John in Jersey, and he's with us here on Mad Dog Unleashed. John, good afternoon. How are you today?
Hey, Dog. Good afternoon. I wanted to comment on Malcolm Butler, but real quick, if I can. I remember you nailed your Alshon Jeffrey, which Sims didn't love. I know you had the Achai. What was the third one, Dog? Your field goal?
Yeah, 1.5 over. I got that easy. Eagles.
You got that one.
Yep.
Also, Dog, on the box pools, for the people that had unusual numbers going in, they had a good day. 2 and 2 at the half, some 5s in there. So the people with the box pools that normally tear them up.
I don't do the box pools, but what you want the box pools, you take a number that's a weird number and hope there's a 2-point conversion, mix extra points, stuff like that, right?
Well, I mean, it's the luck of the draw, but when you have a 2, a 5, you need a missed conversion to get you on track, and that's exactly what happened. Not to mention, before Butler, real quick, Dog, did you like Peterson going for 2 early to try and catch up for?
Excellent point, John. I did not. I would not have gone for 2. That was a mistake. Quickly on Butler. Go ahead.
All right, real quick. The fact that he had his helmet on the whole game made me wonder if he thought he was going to get the nod at any moment. And number 2, Brandon Browner went on his social media and mentioned marijuana, something about weed. I don't know how official that is, but you could look that up.
I saw it. I mean, obviously, he did something late in the week that bothered the head coach Saturday. Whatever that was, eventually we're going to find out. Phil for a few minutes, and then back to you guys. Stick with us.
You're listening to Mad Dog Unleashed with Christopher Russo on SiriusXM's Mad Dog Sports Radio.